Hello and welcome to What the Flick. That's Alonso Duralde. I am Matt Atchity. It is that time of week. We're going to talk about what's new, streaming, you can get on DVD, stuff to watch at home because you've already seen Black Panther and you don't want to go out to the theaters because you've already seen it 4 times and nothing else is worth saying.
You need a little variety. So mine is actually a streaming pick this week. Available on the 20th on iTunes is Lizzie Borden's Born in Flames. This is a film from 1983. I think very much an underground film in a lot of ways. It was made for a low budget, but it is a provocative movie, and it feels weirdly timely because it is about a dictatorial United States of America and an underground revolution that begins fueled by pirate radio. And, you know, it's the kind of movie where 1983 New York was dingy enough that you could just film it as is and be post-apocalyptic. So Borden does that very shrewdly. And there's a really great cast, including, if you keep an eye peeled, future Academy Award-winning filmmaker Catherine Bigelow in one of the roles. But this is just it's I think a really vital American indie. And I think that its political messages ring very true in the 45 administration. And if you've never seen it, it is a landmark feminist film, queer film. You know, there's a very eclectic cast in terms of diverse racial makeup. And, you know, I think it just kind of sets the pace for a lot of what would be happening later in the 80s as far as the kind of indie breakthrough we'd be seeing, you know, once Sundance really put itself on the map. So anyway, Born in Flames, if you've never seen it, it's a vital film. You should check it out, and it starts streaming on February 20th.
All right, cool. I'm going to mention a couple movies. One of them is a big one that is recently available to watch on demand and streaming. Darkest Hour. It's nominated for an Oscar. It's Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill. Probably heard about it. If you haven't seen it yet, now's a good chance to check it out. The one that might be off everybody's radar, we talked about earlier in the year, The Florida Project.
Oh, yeah.
This was a fascinating movie from 2017, directed by Sean Baker, who directed Tangerine. It stars Willem Dafoe as the manager of this motel complex. And there's one particular family, Brooklyn Prince is this young 6-year-old girl and her mother, Bria Venati. And if you ever saw American Honey, I feel like this is a movie that is a really good companion piece to that. You see, this is a community that lives in these motels that really is maybe half a step away from being homeless, and it's fascinating. It's absolutely, you know, the kids in this are awful at times, and the adults are awful, and you see Willem Dafoe like trying to do the best he can to serve the interests of keeping the motel running and yet not kick these people out on the street. It's a surprisingly kind of grounded and also riveting film that I think people that we know are out there and maybe you don't necessarily hear about that much.
Yeah, the people actually talk about the hidden homeless, which is that they don't necessarily register in statistics about homelessness, but they are kind of living week to week, you know, paycheck to paycheck when applicable in these motels. And so this one happens to be down the road from Disney World. So the motel itself is painted in these like wildly garish colors. They are surrounded by vacationers and tourists and people who are, you know, who can afford to take these trips to things, and they're really kind of eking out an existence.
And
on
Hallie's
a
trying to scam some of those tourists and you know, make some at best questionable decisions about how to make some money. I found this to be fascinating. At the very, very end of it, I'm not sure I really.
Oh, the ending is great. The ending is brilliant, and but there's been a lot of discussion online about it. And so, if you find the ending, if you're not crazy about it, Google it. There have been some really good articles sort of explaining why it works and what it does and why it's there. I forgot to mention, by the way, Born in Flames, it's the 35th anniversary, and this is a new high-def restoration that Anthology Film Archives did with funding from the Film Foundation and the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Nice.
I like to goof on the Hollywood Foreign Press, but they do actually give grant money to organizations to do good work, including Outfest, including the American Cinematheque. So, yeah, plenty of good stuff to watch at home this week.
Yeah, those are our recommendations. Watch them. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.